Grace and peace. This is Pastor Renee Teague, the pastor of Enon United Methodist Church, and I'm talking to you today from what is my new office, but it's the old fellowship hall. You know, it's such a thing as only happens, I think, in church land. Well, it's rainy and dreary, and today, when I read my calm email thing that comes, it said, look up at the sky. Spend some time today looking up at the sky and thinking about what you see and who you are beneath the sky. Well, I wondered about that today as I went out into the world and donned my mask and sanitized my hands. But I had another voice to listen to, and that was the voice of God to Moses when the Israelites were about to endure the final plague. I feel like maybe we're waiting on the final plague now. I hope it's not like this one, though. They were waiting to endure the final plague, which was the death of the firstborn of the livestock and of all the people in Egypt. And the only way the people of Israel could avoid this plague was to participate in the very first Passover, which as Christians becomes our Holy Communion. And it's very interesting to me because God tells them, this is how you shall eat it. This is how you shall share communion. This is how you shall eat it. Your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it hurriedly. It is the Passover of the Lord. You shall eat it hurriedly. It is the Passover of the Lord. The sky was just sitting still this morning. Actually, I've never seen the clouds sit so still. And yet I felt in a rush. I felt in an anxious rush to get all of these things done. Things that I put on the list, not necessarily the things that God put on the list. And when we gather as a church and we share Holy Communion, it's one of the times that I work pretty hard at not being in a hurry. What exactly would we be in a hurry about? God says they're in a hurry because this plague is going to come and they need to be ready to get up and go out and worship the Lord. They need to be in a hurry to go worship. In a hurry. The directions for the Passover that God leaves with them after this is after the very first one. In the future, they're told that it shall be eaten in one house. You shall not take any of the animal outside of the house. The whole congregation of Israel shall celebrate it. All should be joined together. And the Israelites did as God commanded. I watched that sky sit still and I wondered about how we could be sitting with our loins girded and yet taking some time to be with God. And then I thought of Advent. And you know, at Advent, when it's almost Christmas time, we sit and we wait. Advent is a time of waiting. It's a time of waiting for the baby Jesus to be born. Maybe if we could look at this time we're in now as a season of Advent, not in a hurry at communion, but instead loins girded and ready to go and yet waiting for the baby to be born. Waiting for the plagues to be over, waiting for the newness of life that will come when we see what is next. We aren't enjoying waiting, and so we seem to be making up all kinds of things, including denying that where we are even exists. People, the pandemic exists. It's real, okay? It's real. There were piles of bodies in Italy and in New York City. It is real. We don't like it, and we're trapped in this place of waiting. But just like the people Israel, it's time now for us to get ready for what is next and then sit and wait until it is revealed. That is so hard. You know, I stared up at that sky and it never got a little blue streak or anything. It just sat there. Even the little low wispy clouds, they just sat there. And that is the time we are in. Now, I can make up stories about the clouds, that they're really hurricanes, or that there's really no blue sky behind them, or that someone put them there just so it would bother me today. But all of those things are just made up in my head because I didn't like it. So instead, I say we choose to sit here in this time, and we choose to wait in an extended Advent, and we wait for the birth of God yet again into our world, and we wait for our new lives to be founded and started. I think we should sing this Christmas song. Come thou long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free. From our fears and sins release us, let us find our rest in thee. Israel's strength and consolation, hope of all the earth thou art, dear desire of every nation, joy of every longing heart. Oh, gracious God, we thank you for being here with us, for your promise to deliver. Help us to wait patiently on your deliverance. Amen.